So, folks, I have with me another piece of the blues puzzle here in Canada. His name is Paul Black, and he's a jolly good fellow that likes his blues as much as everything else that he actually got involved with when he was a kid, growing up in Terrace, BC. And they moved down to eventually to Victoria. I understand that your first musical instrument was a guitar, which you got at 16, but you didn't touch it until 18. Is there a reason?
Yeah, at the time I was really into sports. I was actually my thought was I'm going to be a professional soccer player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was heading down that route. I don't know, maybe it was because I'm a tall guy, and I thought, well, basketball didn't pan out, so I thought I went to soccer. And I ended up with so many injuries on my one of my ankles, I had to get surgery. So I'm like, okay, I got to change directions here. And I was always a music lover. At the time, I was into stuff like Zeppelin and Deep Purple and the rock that my older brothers listened to, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So
So the sports didn't pan out, but how high of a guy are you?
I'm 6'5".
6 foot. Cripes, that's almost the same height as Long John Baldry, if not just a few inches higher.
Oh yeah, I did a gig with Long John Baldwin.
How
I
was that?
It was pretty cool. It was my first solo acoustic gig that I ever did. It was here in Victoria, and it was one of his, as far as I know, it was one of his last gigs before he passed away.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah,
The funny thing is that there's a few degrees of Long John Baldry right now, folks. Long John Baldry was born in the UK or Great Britain, and he, funnily enough, doing some research, I learned that he actually aided um, Elton John to come out of the closet and to be proud of who he was. And then
oh really?
eventually, yeah, and then eventually he decided to come to Canada, lived in Toronto, and moved from Toronto to Vancouver because he went like this over his head. I've had it with snow. So,
Yeah, that's why I moved here too. Enough of the cold.
oh really? Is it
Yeah,
colder in Terrace?
yeah, Terrace, you're getting down to, I'm not sure what it's like in Moncton, but you get your 30 belows and 3, 4 feet of snow. So
Oh, okay,
yeah,
so it's
and
similar.
I was just touring. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so coming to you now, right now you released in March 1st, 2024, Beautiful Sin, which is your
Yeah,
third album.
yeah.
I've listened to every single track at least two times, and I just can't say enough about it because how can I put it? It's guttural in a good way because there's no fancy stuff. It's just all black.
Yeah, appreciate that, man.
So, with your guitars, do you actually touch anything electric, or is it mostly acoustic that you tend to dabble on?
Well, I got my main acoustic that I do a lot of writing on because it's easy to pick up and throw ideas down. But yeah, I'm a Strat guy. I got sucked into a Strat when someone gave me a copy of "Are You Experienced" by Jimi Hendrix, and that's what kind of like, okay, it's like this guy was doing something different. So I went down that road. Then I saw Steve Ray Vaughan in concert, and I was like, okay, I liked what he was doing. It was just so intense, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, so I play a lot of electric.
the research actually pulled up that you were heavily influenced by Stevie Ray Vaughan, and you basically that's it. That's the sound that I need to
Yeah,
concentrate on.
yeah. Well, he had that big sound with that Strat, and just those single coils, and yeah, and also he was like I said, he was a very intense player, and then I dove back further and realized he was such a big fan of guys like Freddie King. Who, if you listen to Freddie King, you're like, oh, okay, I get why where Stevie got a lot of his influence from and that kind of thing. But I saw him in the Expo '86 here in Vancouver,
You lucky
and
man.
I was just like, oh, I was totally like just blown away.
Sadly, I was kind of saddened when I learned that he passed away during. Badly enough, it was to go to his birthday party, and he ended up dying in a helicopter crash.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that was back in wasn't that 1990? I think it was. It was a while
yeah,
back. Yeah.
Yeah, he was young enough to be in his prime in regards to his blues chops, but he was
Oh yeah.
an
I think he
old
was 30.
soul when it came to it, because other people around him, BB King and a whole bunch of Canadian artists, American artists, all knew who he was. And
Yeah. Yeah. He was only 36 when he died.
yeah, so with yourself right now, I know that you just came back from a gig in uh, Victoria. You just
Oh,
actually, when I
Vancouver.
called
Yeah.
you, I got you off the ferry.
Yeah.
So, are you heavily touring? Because I know that this is not a full-time thing for you, but it's passionate.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna play as I'm gonna hunt down as much as I can. I mean to push the album and that. I'm actually heading to. I just found out I'm heading to Toronto to do a showcase thing for. I think they got their talent search, their blues challenge at
Oh,
the end of
okay,
June. So I
for
just got
the
selected to go do that through the Toronto Blues Society.
okay, sweet.
Yeah,
So the have you? I forgot to ask. Did you actually participate in any of the international event, the Memphis Blues Challenge?
I didn't. No, no. A lot of times I just I'm like a lot of musicians we're horrible at actually promoting ourselves and getting on top of things, right? So I'm just trying to get on top of this. My bass player actually moved to Toronto, so that's handy.
Okay.
And well, one of them anyways. And so yeah, so I'm going there to do that gig, and yeah, it'd be nice to get out of town. But I'm gonna. And then there was the Western Canadian Music Awards, which I got it for nominated for Album of the Year, and that's in Saskatoon in September.
Oh, sweet.
So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, it's all whether you win or lose, it's all just nice for people to recognize what's going on, right?
True.
Yeah,
Now I understand that you're a singer-songwriter, and that the album that we have right now is entirely compositions that you actually recorded. Um, how was the process for you as a person that's split in two worlds, work and blues? And
right.
your mind must wander sometimes, where it's a little bit more slower, and then you start jotting down what you're
Yeah,
thinking about.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, for the album, when in the middle of doing the album, I mean, the COVID thing hit and it kind of stopped everything like it did for everybody. But on a good note, I actually got to review a lot of stuff I was looking at recording and rewrite things and actually wrote a song, one off the album. I wrote it down in about 10 minutes and ended up recording it.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, which doesn't happen all the time. Usually you're reworking things and going over and over and over and over stuff. But I'm always writing when I sit down. I don't sit down and just practice and go over scales or anything. I just like to sit down and just write music.
Oh, nice. So,
Yeah,
when you decided to that you had enough um, musical pieces that you wanted to actually get it down on disc,
yeah.
did you actually do it in in your own studio, or was it a studio nearby, or was it with?
No, actually, a guy I met him and we started playing together. He's actually did all the organ on the album. His name's Win Gogol, but he has a studio called One Ton Studios. And so we became good friends. We put out a duo album together in the middle of everything, and then I just did everything at his house. I did the bass at home at my place because, like I said, my bass player moved, so I didn't have that guy unfortunately. So if you hear some weird things on the bass lines in there, I apologize ahead of time. That's just a guitar player trying to be a bass player. And yeah, it's called One Ton Studios is where I did it. So
Okay. You said the person's name is what?
Win Gogol.
Go go as in Geo.
Gogol, not
Oh, go
Gogo.
go go.
Because
Okay.
there's another Gogo family here, like David Gogo and I think somebody
Uh,
else.
yeah, David Gogo is the only one I know, but he's. I was going. Wait, did David have a brother and he's playing? Or
No, yeah, no, he does have a
okay,
couple brothers though, but yeah,
okay. So you managed to do this incredible album, folks. The title of it is "Beautiful Sin." And it's I'd say probably, if I had to give it a scale of steps, it's probably like 10 steps up from Taxi, which is
yeah. Well,
amazing.
Yeah, Taxi was the first album I did. Yeah, that was actually done in a buddy of mine's garage, and we actually taped the tools down so they wouldn't rattle during recording. Right, so it was definitely a different recording process. Yeah,
Yeah, but it made it fact.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it came
yeah,
out, and then they gave you some recognition, and here we
yeah,
are now looking at the beautiful preserved man that you are doing the blues and
yeah,
trying to survive without
yeah,
dying over traveling to go from point A to point B.
yeah, exactly.
So, songwriting wise, have you ever written songs that you managed to pass on to somebody specific?
No, no, and I actually thought about that because I've sat down and wrote songs that are like, this is not my genre, but I just make sure I write it out no matter what it is.
Okay.
And listen to like buddies of mine who have other bands and female singers. I'm like, oh, this would better suit them. And then I just get so wrapped up in doing my own thing. But I'd love for someone to actually do a song of mine. I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, the only question that I always have for songwriters is how do you go about it? Because there's so many. So far, I've been able to condense it into the following. You have to have songwriting chops. You have to have some songs, a catalog of songs that you're willing to pass on to other people that can actually do the
Hmm.
genre that you're participating in. In some
True.
cases, it could be a sit-in day where you're actually helping someone flesh it out, and then you co-write the song,
Right.
or you go through a publisher. If the publisher takes your portfolio, he then looks at artists that he or she can actually pass it on. It's
Yeah.
not it's not as easy as going, here, Bob, I got you a song, I
No.
need you to play it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I wish. Yeah. Because I've written songs like country songs, just different genres and that, and go, well, I'll probably never play this live because it's just sometimes I write a song, it's like my voice doesn't suit this. It just doesn't, you know.
I find your voice is well suited for the blues. Actually, for
Yeah.
all the songs that you sung, it's just,
Yeah.
how can I put it? You have a deep voice, which is complementary to most styles of blues. If it's too nasally, you better be in the background.
Yeah. Put you through some kind of processor. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. But no, at least you don't auto tune, which is a good thing.
No, no. And there's so, I mean, you can do that live now with a pedal, even like auto tune live. But I don't know, it shows. And then I think as a singer, I look at it as like, oh, I'm going to get lazy. I would just get lazy with something like that, and just with
Well,
pitch correction and all that kind of thing. It's just,
I
I don't know.
suppose, but I can't see you doing it because based on the way you
No.
do your style, you just get angry and throw the equipment out. What do you use
Yeah.
as equipment, by the way, when you go out and do a gig? Is it mostly just you, or
Oh
you
no,
and
I
the
do a
bass
full
player,
band. Yeah, no,
full
me and a
band?
full band. Like so, I do a solo, I have a duo, and then I have a full three piece, and then a four piece also.
Okay, four piece would be with what additional?
With a Hammond organ. Right. So like you'd hear on
Wow.
the album. Yeah. So
Okay.
and it depends what it comes down to is how much is the club willing to pay. It's like, okay, if I could bring everybody, great. If I can't, well then you scale it down. But as far as equipment, I'm a Strat guy. I just recently picked up a Gibson, bought this Gibson, but I'm a big on a Strat, and I run it through just a couple of pedals. I got a wah pedal, and I got an old Fender Vibro King, which I love. So I'm still just
Okay.
me through a tube amp, basically.
So basically, keep it simple.
Yeah, yeah. If there's
Okay.
too many buttons and stuff, I'm just gonna mess things up, right? So if it's just got bass, treble, volume, and a volume knob, it's like that's all I get.
But for me, it's as long as it's got volume, that's all I could. That's all I
Yeah,
care
yeah.
for.
Turn it up or down. That's your two choices. Yeah.
So coming to you as a human being, now I understand that you're working part time. You're a data mogul, which is makes things a little bit interesting sometimes, but at least it gives you some free time to do your own on blues. But
Yep.
do you have any time at all for a possible what's it called, hobby?
Not really. I got a 14 and an 11-year-old, and so if I have any time after music and work, I just hang with my family.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to ride a lot. I had a bike, not a pedal bike. I'm not that in shape. It was a motorbike. But so I used to do that quite a bit, but it's just any spare time I have, I'm either playing or trying to write or trying to, at this point, drum up more gigs and see what I can do to push this album.
Oh, so you're a family man, which is a good thing. But how does the
Yeah,
family take it when you need to go away for a period of time? Do they
a little better
support
now.
a
Yeah,
little
which
bit?
is why I wasn't touring too much in the last few years because when the kids were
Okay.
young, I didn't want to be that absentee dad. It just wasn't in me, so I wanted to hang with them. And so now that they're a little bit older, if I take off for a little bit, they're you know
What about the missus?
I don't even know if she misses me. The lack of misses. No, yeah, she's understanding, of course, right? Yeah,
Okay.
and then and they all put up with my practicing in the living room when other things are going on. So
Oh no. Well, at the very least, it's not hard heavy metal or death
yeah,
metal.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Now, with everything that you've experienced, anything I know right now you're planning for certain events that are coming towards, I'll say probably summer. I know you've got an award ceremony in Saskatchewan or Saskatoon.
Saskatoon, yeah, it's the Western Canadian Music Awards, so it's from Manitoba west.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's for like between me and a few other bands. So actually, three of them are on the island that got nominated too. So
Oh,
which is
sweet.
very cool. It's because it's out of 6 people, and then yeah, at the end of this month or end of June actually is I think it's some kind of blues challenger talent thing where you go there and do a 20-minute set, and you know you hope it works out. And it's all about I think the winner of that gets a bunch of festival gigs in 2025.
Okay.
Which is the festival gigs is what I would shoot for. What you're always looking for as a musician because those are the fun ones.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
so we've seen anyways.
Yep.
I've had the here in New Brunswick. There's not that many, but enough to make it worth anybody's while that loves to do blues.
Yeah.
And then there's Nova Scotia, which one of their big blues. It's not just blues; it's blues and other things, but it's the
Right.
Smoky Mountain Festival, if I remember correctly.
That sounds familiar because I get a
Yeah.
I get a printout from one of the societies telling me all about the festivals across Canada. Yeah, I'd
Good.
love to get out there and play. I would love it. Now that the bass player is based out of Toronto, it's like it's a matter of just flying there and working things up and you know using that as a pushing off point to go play around there. So
Either that or bring the family when
yeah,
they're old enough, and then just make it a
yeah.
camping slash gig type
No,
of
I got to
deal.
get them. I got to get them playing instruments so they can get another band. That would make more sense, right?
That would be good. So I don't know what else I'd like to ask because there's I've covered everything that I really wanted to. Is there anything that you'd like to mention?
Off the top of my head, no. It kind of yeah, just talking about the new album. That's what I'm pushing right now, and just trying to get it out there and get it heard.
So, folks, you can get his album directly from his website, which is literally paulblack.ca, if I remember correctly.
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
You can also get it from any streaming services that are going to be getting it.
Yeah,
I know it's not on Spotify yet, but it will be very soon.
I think it is on there. It's just I was having trouble because it was going to another Paul Black. I'm not the only one.
Yeah, no, I
So
did some research and I'm going, okay, I know he's not born in 1957. I know he's not
yeah,
a
he looks
sportsman.
good for that. Yeah, yeah,
um, last question I'd have is something completely off the wall, but it's something that
Okay.
I always do for all my artists. It's the question is simply this: what's your favorite food dish?
I got a couple actually. I was just gonna go. I'm a huge sushi fan. Love
Aha.
my sushi and probably sushi and Mexican. Love Mexican food. Yeah.
Well, there you go, folks. We gotta.
Yeah.
This is you're like the. I don't know how. I can count on one hand how many blues players love sushi.
Well, I'm a West Coast guy. I grew up near the ocean, so
Well,
yeah,
there's that. You're close by. But anyways,
yeah.
Paul, I thank you for taking this time because I know you're a busy man, busy family
Oh, of
man
course.
too.
No, no, always time,
Uh,
man. I appreciate it.
and I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too.